All right, and we're back for round 2. Again from Lost Legion Games and Comics Friday Night Magic in South Charleston, West Virginia.
I'm sorry, Jeremy.
This matchup,
I have to select everything.
This matchup features Jeremy Mills on the left playing White Weenie deck versus Brett Rose, who you remember from last week's coverage, playing, unfortunately, not Infect, but his Green-White Tokens deck again. More importantly, Rock Lobster coming through with the big win.
I think that ties it up, doesn't it?
I will update that during the... I don't want to do it now.
Even the B-52 is proud.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, well, I'll put the thing up later, but that is even across the board now. Well, it's good that the rock paper scissors metagame is
it's pretty balanced.
It's pretty fair.
Honestly, I expected Paper Tiger to be dominating.
Mm-hmm. Well, it's going to
be a Paper Tiger season. But
it's going to rotate. Once you all can't, I'm embarrassed because what you all can't see because you're not watching us watching us personally is that I was laughing at that joke before I said it and I had to stop. But so Jeremy's just playing a pretty stock White Weenie deck. I imagine Champions, Gathers, Honor the Pure, probably Lingering Soul, something like that. Mm-hmm. As people in the chat are pointing out, we almost sound like we know what we're talking about, which is a big improvement.
See, that's really sad that they think that.
Mm-hmm. Well, public education is not what it used to be these days. So.
Yeah.
But Brett goes for a turn 2 Shrine, which can get out of hand. I doubt Jeremy has anything in his main deck to deal with that.
I don't know. Do White Weenies not run O-rings?
Yeah, I stand corrected. I'm stupid. Good grief.
Well, it's difficult to play around because sometimes they can just leave it open just to pop, which I guess if your tokens, I don't know if you leave the mana open that often.
Who cares about the mana when you have a turn 3 Hero of Bladehold against a deck that doesn't have spot removal? So, he has an O-ring or he doesn't.
Something for 3.
Crusader does something.
Makes that champion feel a little less lonely.
Mm-hmm. It can at least trade with the hero.
Yes, it could. The question is, does Brett have his own O-ring?
I think it's more likely he's got an O-ring than it does.
He has a Paralyze,
okay.
Which is much better. And this, no, O-ring would still be better, but Paralyze pretty good, so he's going to get 4 tokens. The question is, here's an interesting rules question, and anyone feel free to chime in. Do they come in tapped and attacking?
I'm actually not sure about that.
I do not know. I'm not sure if they're going to. Jeremy's pretty good.
Well, you make copies of them.
If it says the word copy on there, I think that they might, and it looks like he is putting them into play tapped.
Jeremy knows his rules pretty well, so if Jeremy's allowing it, then I imagine that's exactly what the ruling is. But that'd be interesting to talk to JB after the fact.
Yeah.
Well, I'd say, yeah, like...
Okay, the internet says yes.
Okay. The internet is never wrong.
So he's going to trade with the hero here and take 8. 8 damage is pretty good. It's 40%. It's life total. Math. Deal with it.
Hang on, let me double check on my calculator.
Let's back this up. I need TI-83 stat.
There's the ring.
They
do run them.
Possibly a turn too late, but certainly important because Brett could simply just pop it for just 1/1s in the attack now.
Yeah.
Now Brett's just digging for his intangible virtues at this point, I think. A 1-drop is another mana dude. Whoops.
Oh.
The question is he going to attack? He's probably not going to attack, I would assume.
I would probably just go ahead and throw them all in there.
I mean, what's he going to do? He's going to
get in your 3 damage, lose 1 guy.
Yeah, I think you're right. On second consideration, I'll allow it. You would think that a red player like me would know how to do race math, but I guess you're right. Like, he's dead next turn, right? Because he's going to be able to attack with his birds as well.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And he's going to get 4 more guys, so he's going to get 8 new ones. He's going to get 6 is 14. The hero itself is 3 is 17. 2 birds make 19. He can block one of it. He can block, 3.
Yeah, he can block the hero, and that's it.
Mm-hmm. This has been a pretty effective draw for Brett. That is a...
The problem is the battle cry still goes on.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Because it has to attack in order for it to be rebukable.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
and the tokens.
Tokens and the battle cry, it's still going to be enough.
6, 7, 14, 15, 16, right? Should be enough. I'm going to go out on a limb and say that it's enough. All right, they figured it out.
I'm not too sure about the rebuke card.
It's... They don't print condemn. It is an instant. It does cost a lot.
If you're expecting a lot of, other aggro matches, it takes out a blind flip, turn 1 Delver.
So while they're sideboarding...
That's if you didn't play Dude, and if you didn't play Dude in White Weenie.
Yeah. Well, I used to play White Weenies a lot.
While they're doing that, let's resolve our weekly giveaway. First and foremost, why don't we type up... Gentlemen, why don't you... One of you facilitate that list, and one of you pick the number.
All right. Jordan, why don't you go ahead and pick the number? I'm
There are 10 people who have entered themselves into...
There are 10 people.
This week's Rock, Paper, Scissors giveaway.
Well, let's see.
Actually, there's 10 people on here. I've got a D20.
Okay, let's just roll the die.
There we go.
We're going to use science.
Because I don't want to get hated out.
Yeah, I know there's a lot of pressure to put on just one person. Better to leave it up to fate.
Mm-hmm.
You can totally see through the paper. And
While they are doing that...
We're going to roll this D20 and we're going to subtract 10 from it.
And while they're doing that, I'm making this year's...
It's 1.
It's 1.
Usman Jamail from... Actually, the biggest celebrity on this list. He writes the Cube articles and content for Star City Games.
Very nice.
He was joining us on our midweek Cube stream, which we did on Wednesday night. So he will be receiving... I'll get in touch with him shortly and send him his playset of goodies. If you would like to win, I am, as we speak... I am retweeting right now. You can hear me typing and not talking. I've done it. I have sent the tweet for this week, which means that this week's giveaway is now underway. Yes, last week's winner at Justin DZ is not eligible, as he has already won. So for the 9 of you that did not win, run it back next week. I got sets for days, kids, and I'll give them out. Also, while I'm thinking about it, and we'll talk about this at detail later. That's a horrible overlay. I have to remake it, but it's not too early to start talking about the 2012 states. Specifically, West Virginia State Tournament will be held at the Beckley Convention Center in Beckley, West Virginia. It's a new location. It's entirely because Star City used to run the events. They're no longer doing that. So Lost Legion is actually sponsor. I say sponsor. I don't know if that's the correct word, but they are hosting the events this year, and they will be at the Beckley Convention Center, which is in the southern part of the state of West Virginia. So if there's anybody who lives in western actual Virginia and would like to sneak over, it's about an hour from Blacksburg. If you're at Virginia Tech or something, I want to sneak over. That's going to be on October 13th. So next week we have pre-release. The following week we have release. The following week we have states. The following week we have CharCon, which is the Charleston area. Yeah. If you want more information about states, go to sleeveup.com. I don't know why they chose that name, but that has information on not just West Virginia states, but on every state tournament. You can find out who's sponsoring it, what the venue is, who to contact for more information. So definitely check that out. That's one of the, I'd say that's probably one of the most interesting non-Pro Tour, non-specific, non-Wizard sponsored events of the year, simply because it's the most virgin of formats.
Yeah.
You lose 4 sets. You only have 4 to build from.
You have like a week or 2 with the
you have like literally a week. You have the better part of 8 calendar days to figure out an entirely new metagame.
Even if you're using proxies, I mean, the entire Return to Ravnica just got finished with the spoilers this week. So, I mean, very limited time with the new card pool.
So, whether you're watching live or you're watching after the fact, if you are stateside, you should definitely figure out which one is closest. And again, it's state tournaments, but they have long since dropped the affiliation. You do not have to be from the state you're competing in to be eligible. So if you're, if you live in the, for example, West Virginia, if you live in the Panhandle and it's easier to go to Maryland or DC, or if you live up north, you want to go to Pennsylvania or Ohio, or more importantly, if you live in Ohio and you don't want to go slog through 300, 400 people in Columbus, come to Beckley. It's only 3 hours. So that should be fun. More importantly, we are going to try to, I'm in the works right now to stream states. So
that would be amazing.
I don't know if it's going to happen or not, but we are going to try our darndest to stream states. So I will keep everyone abreast of that. We have the technology. We can build it. So the only thing better than a turn 1 champion is a turn 2 champion as well. So Jeremy's off to a much more aggressive start than he was last game. I do not know exactly what...
He's 18.
No. Don't have to apologize. We missed the turn 1 mana guy, so he's not going to be doing anything so super degenerate. Oh, see, this is the problem. We talked about this last week. This is the problem with Brett's deck, is that it's junk colors and losing. His mana base is not very flexible. Most of his lands come into play tapped.
Yeah.
So...
Is that an Elite Inquisitor?
It is Elite Inquisitor, which that's the one that has pro Innistrad block, right? So he gets in for 5, right?
Yeah, even if Brett comes down with a hero this turn, he's still going to be behind, I think.
And I would be very surprised if Brett is playing any kind of sweeper effects, considering he's playing the token deck.
Yeah.
Well, yep.
There's the hero.
But just like you said, it's only going to be able to...
I mean, if Jeremy can drop one dude, then it's more of a 4/4 champ.
Yep.
That's a Mirror Crusader, nonetheless.
So he'll attack with the 4/4, probably leave the... At this point, I probably attack with everything, because... so Brett will just take this. Drop into 9. I think I might have attacked with everything, because if Brett's deck does anything, it makes chump blockers, right? So get the damage in while you can. You lose 1 champion, but you get in an extra 2 points of damage. That's pretty big, because he can't activate it, right? So he'll attack with 3 and gain possibly 7 life, kill everything else. Well, he won't gain 7 life because he'll be able to block with First Striker.
Yeah. They don't gain 5.
Well, he'll be able to block 2 of them. So
it definitely keeps him in the game.
3.
He'll gain at least 5. How about this? Let's see what he does, and then figure it out.
Maybe he won't attack at all, because that's, maybe he thinks it's a bad idea.
Last week I mentioned it several times, where I was trying to outthink Brett Rose, knowing that Brett Rose has been playing this deck for months, that I haven't played Standard. I haven't played Standard with my own cards since the first week of December 2011.
Is there another hero?
Garruk. Oh, Garruk is very good. You know what Garruk can't do? Kill that Mirror Crusader. But it can kill the... What?
It looked like he was motioning towards the Mirror Crusader and then backing away.
He can't kill that, but he can kill this... he can trade with the other...
The other First Striker.
Yeah.
Or he can trade with the champ.
He can trade with the champ. He can kill the Inquisitor.
Maybe just make a chunk.
Does it have Death Touch?
Not this one.
No, when he flips, the other wolves will have Death Touch.
Do I still have it?
Yeah.
Nice. And then he played another bird.
Yeah. So...
Does Jeremy just have 1 card in his hand? No, he's
Well,
got
if he's got an O-ring, he can make it very easily game, I think, here. almost, right? Because double strike from the Crusader, he wouldn't be able to block that.
4.
And then
He's lining them up.
well, I guess Rebuke destroys blocking creatures too, doesn't it? Or is it just attacking?
So he's just sending one champion and the
I
Crusader.
don't know. I think it's attacking or blocking.
Because I was going to say, because this could be a trick that he's setting up to have the hero just wiped out.
Mm-hmm.
Wait, he can't chump the Crusader with anything except the hero.
Mm-hmm. I mean, he might be at the point where he just takes the Crusader damage.
I think that's what I would do. I would soak up the 4 and try to make it back off the vault.
And that's what he did, didn't he? I mean, he's got some game here. I mean, he is playing 4 parallel lives, which makes that means he'll get 2 wolves and 4. Every land comes into play, Taz. It's just so brutal.
Yeah, I think that's really hurt him this game.
Yeah, it's tough. I mean, although that is a comment. I mean, this deck doesn't lose that much.
Mm-hmm.
It loses heroes, but I mean, with Populate as a mechanic, and
yeah,
you can just play. I mean, you can find something that makes tokens. You can play Thragtusk for that matter. I mean,
yeah.
So he's going to kill the Inquisitor.
So how did he kill the Inquisitor and get a Death Touch Wolf?
He cheated.
Yeah. Does Brett have cards in hand?
He's got 3.
Okay.
And he can't use Garrick's ability, right? Because it's the same Garrick.
Yeah.
Only 1 Garrick per turn.
Which, unless he can produce some type of blocker or something to stall the game.
He has another hero.
Okay. So I think if Brett gets another untap step, then he's going to take over the game with those 2 heroes in the vault.
And that's like, this is not Jeremy's been playing forever. He's a good player. I'm not trying to make a comment, but when you draw that card and just immediately put the land into play without actually putting it in your hand, that's pretty relevant. I mean, because
he's been on 3 lands.
I mean, he knows he doesn't have any tricks that he didn't also have last turn now.
Yeah. Right, but if you just hold it and then attack.
Yeah.
Was that everything a Garrick? That seems very odd.
Yeah.
Oh, his own hero? Oh!
What?
No.
That's kind of weird.
That seems weird. Maybe that's
That
a
must have been
sideboard card.
sideboarded, yeah.
But now he's not hellbent, but Brett's going to get untapped with 3 cards in hand and 5 land in play.
I think if he just gets a dude out there, he's ahead now, thanks to the vault.
Parallel lives.
That's not going to do it.
Well, but now all of his, I mean, he's playing 8 token generators, so.
Yeah.
And Jeremy's drawing nothing but land.
His own hero as well.
Mm-hmm. But with that, with the vault, like. Mm-hmm. He plays as a gross to kind of give his deck a little bit of velocity, and then also to fix some kind of debate. From a few weeks ago, we got in trouble because we kept counting the abundant growth as lands. Oh, that's a pretty good answer.
The best art of O-Ring.
That's exactly what he needed in that
Haven't
situation.
we had this discussion before? About the
If
kids?
you had, I wasn't here. So let's just...
Oh.
O-Ring, that O-Ring. The little battle.
Ring on ring crime. I don't know. I don't want to get into it. We just had a debate on which O-Ring art was better.
I'll tell you right now, you have to agree with me. The M13 art is not the best, by far. It's pretty ugly.
It's all the same. Like, there's only, like, the M13 isn't different from any other...
Well, the M13, M12, whatever. I'm just saying that specific art.
No, you said
was what I was saying.
specifically.
Okay, specifically the M13, but M12 was okay.
I'm going to go ahead and propose that this conversation is a little too nerdy for the stream.
Even for the stream. Even for the stream.
So he just lingered in Script 4.
It's important because
helps.
he can kill the hero this way. I don't know if that's what I would do.
Well, how? What? Did he flash it
I
back
think
too?
I think he had enough to flash it all back.
Okay, so that's 8. So he's in pretty good shape then.
Well,
He's in such good shape that he ran out of spirit tokens.
Yeah. He's got enough, he can block and kill the hero and still chump.
It's one of the biggest problems facing our culture today, which is lack of spirit tokens. Look at those things. Little.
I say lack of tokens in general.
Mm-hmm. So tokens will trade with tokens. Is there a scenario in which Brett could, like, he has to block something because he's dead otherwise? Oh, I didn't see that he played the Inquisitor. But I'm wondering if there's a scenario in which he can win on the next turn. Intangible Virtue would only give him. So, take nothing. Tokens for tokens. Chump out the hero. Now he's got 5 flyers left.
And
he has Gaffney that he can... Vault. Never mind.
Yeah, I think in this situation he wants the Vault, which will gain him 5, but he's facing an attack back.
I think what he wants here is Intangible Virtue, and anything short of that is pretty... Garrick?
So he's not activating either of his lands this turn.
Soren.
Okay.
Those little life linkers in it.
So is he going for the emblem?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, okay. He does go for the emblem, which is all of your creatures are +1/+0?
Yep.
Would you have made a dude there?
Well, he would have gotten 2 dudes. I mean, it's... The chump blockers, I think, are still
but they're lifelink
important to him at this point.
And I think he may just be pumping up dudes so that he can trade with that hero.
Yeah. Lose two guys to it instead of 4.
Because if we're playing off the top of the deck and each player runs somewhat similarly in terms of business, all of Brett's stuff at this point are going to be 2, 4, 8-for-1s.
Yeah.
Every non-hero card that Jeremy draws that isn't like a Day or an O-Ring is just basically dead if we start racing for resources.
As soon as Brett maneuvers himself into a position to activate that Vault and get in, I think he'll probably seal the game up.
We're going to see the same blocks here. I would go down to 1. I would kill the hero.
The only risk there is if he's playing some kind of combat trick, which is I think pretty unlikely. I think it's probably safe to go to 1 there.
That's what he's doing. He's going to 1. He's living on the edge.
He did not trade with the hero, though.
No.
Keeping his dudes back. But I figure this turn he's going to make a couple of vampire tokens.
Mm-hmm. So he has 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 mana. So he has 1 activation and then... So there, it makes 2. So now he
1
can...
lifelinkers.
So now he can block the team, has lifelink, and can death touch all this stuff, right?
Yep.
So he's going to be able to gain 10 life, kill everything.
Now,
He'll take 2. He'll take 2.
He'll have to throw a lot of dudes in front of the Inquisitor, won't he? Since it has first strike.
Yeah.
He'd have to put at least 3 guys in there to kill it. So he might just throw in 1 to chump it.
Is he considering an attack here? Oh, he does have Gavany. I guess he can option that out. But the problem with well, no, because he's gaining life.
6 life off of the vampires if he Gavanies, which isn't bad.
You know what he needs?
I mean, he only gains 7 life if he uses the Vault, so it's not that much different.
I think he needs an Intangible Virtue is what he needs, which allows him to make some headway.
Yeah.
Because that's how he beat the Delver deck last week, was just being able to leave the chump blockers back while incrementally making some, eating into life total. It's a strange thing about this game, Magic. You have to attack to win. It's like the cruelest thing in the world.
So, do you think Brett has Jeremy in a position now where he doesn't want to attack? Or is he going to go for it?
Because he basically has to trade his whole board, right? He can...
Yeah, there he goes.
I mean, I haven't done the exact math just yet. So this is a pretty crucial block here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So no matter what happens, he's taking 4.
And it looks like he's actually sent half of it to Soren.
Oh, I would let Soren die.
I think the Inquisitor and 2 tokens are going to Soren.
I would let Soren die.
All right, there's the vault.
Mm-hmm.
And I think he is just going to let Soren die.
Well, that's the thing though. If he doesn't, he has to have gas in the hand, right? Otherwise, trading his board and gaining life, that one Inquisitor can nick him down.
So he gains 9 life, right?
I think so, yeah.
Takes no damage. Is that correct?
He gets that hero off the board.
No, he did take 2 damage.
I think the only thing he's lost is Soren.
Mm-hmm. So depending on what he can do here, this might be where the tide turns. Is it 2 lands? Oh my god, that's a very weird card. He should attack first, right? Now, yeah, he should attack first, right?
Yeah, and then get 2 horrors.
Mm-hmm. That's gonna be pretty good. That card is very funny.
It's 4. You took 4.
I'm sorry. If
oh,
no.
never mind. You were right. You apparently predicted that.
I'm up to 10 on the prediction points too, so we're tied. Oh man. If I had told you tonight that we would have seen Phyrexian Rebirth. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 2 5/5s. Well, don't say that we haven't shown you guys. We saw Max beat Joseph pretty soundly earlier today with a plethora of cool planeswalkers, and then we just saw Brett cast Phyrexian Rebirth, which we all forgot was a Magic card until right now. That was pretty cool. Zach Villanco on the stream is claiming that was his inclusion, and so he's going to vote, right? Is there anything Jeremy can do short of a day? But I mean,
even that just, I guess it brings him back into the game, but...
Yeah, so he goes down to 6, right, because of the emblem still alive.
Yep.
And then he's going to gain 12 to 19.
Lifelink.
Is that what the kids call a sick rip off the top?
Yep, that's the end.
Jeez, that gets silly. Brett Rose, you're silly. Oh, that's round 2. I think we have a fair amount of time left, don't we?
I think so. I haven't heard any time announcements.
So, I want to talk about some spoilers.
Sounds good to me.
Have we? Well, first let's again reiterate that with Rock Lobster winning this, we're now tied across the board lifetime.
Surprisingly balanced metagame.
It's very well balanced. But like I said, post rotation, it could be anybody's game. Spock rotates in. Actual Lizard rotates in. Then you can play Lizard Tribal. What was I going to do? Nope. Bonfire meme. Whoops. This is one of the problems with this piece of software is it does not let me particularly know exactly what everything is. Mm-hmm. Did we talk about these last week?
We did.
I think these were on... I know we talked about Ultimate Price during a period where we had some...
Yeah,
I think that was the only card. I don't think the first 2 we talked about because this one rolled over into a second round.
Yeah.
But the main thing on this page is just a reprinting of Pithing Needle,
yes,
which I think is pretty interesting. This is one thing we talked about last week that didn't make it into the coverage because of the audio problem. But that whole summer where we endured like countless Caw-Blade mirror matches. They could have saved themselves a lot of trouble if they had just reprinted Pithing Needle and Oblivion Ring in the core set.
Yeah.
And by not giving that kind of universal answer to... every deck could play Pithing Needle and Jace. And,
I think it's going to show up in a lot of sideboards, too.
yeah, it's... let's just think of...
It just shuts down any Planeswalker you want it to for any color.
Yeah. And I'm trying to think of other cards that...
Well, if you're playing stuff with, like, Lolth Troll and stuff, which I could see stuff like that where...
Yeah, there's going to be... It's a good point. Like, it's the kind of card that you would play in EDH, and it would, like, almost never be dead. Mm-hmm. You're very rarely going to play against a deck that doesn't have some kind of activated ability. Obviously, it's going to be much better against one thing than the next, but it's never dead. It's a card that sees play in every format.
Yeah.
If it's good enough for Legacy sideboard, it's good enough for a Standard sideboard.
Yeah.
So I think it's really cool that they bring it back. I'm trying to think of the guilds the activated abilities, I mean, Rakdos is not activated. Scavenge? Scavenge just can't.
Scavenge is activated.
Yeah, but I don't know if that's any good. I mean, to turn it off. I guess
It's only on one card you'd be able
I guess the only one that's really good is if it has like populate, like the Tristani we showed earlier.
Mm-hmm.
Well, you could shut off the populate, but I don't know. It'll remain to be seen. You know,
There's,
it's a card that definitely will be considered in a lot of decks. But if there's
Well, Niv Mizzet has multiple activations after he comes in because he's now mana. So
Sure.
you can just hit 6 card draws and 6 card draws, 3 card draws and 3 damage in the next turn.
So that's definitely going to make an impact. How much we'll have to wait and see. But the next card, this one got a lot of heat, and we're a couple weeks removed from it being spoiled. But this one got a lot of heat when it was spoiled. The uncounterable counterspell, Counterflux, which at first, when you say uncounterable counterspell, then every blue player gets so excited because they love to counter stuff, and the only thing better than counterspell is one that they can't counterspell back. But the question is this card any good? It's clearly better. Well, it's not clearly better, but it's Is it better than Dissipate? Well, if you're playing blue and red, probably.
Yeah. I think it's a reasonable card. It's costed pretty well.
It's playable.
Uncountable counterspells, and it's a fun card to play with. I think the Overload though is what really sells me on it. And I'm not trying to say that the Overload is good or that it's going to have any effect on the format at all.
It's fun.
It's going to be so fun. If you counterflux more than 2 spells, it's probably going to feel about as good as anything you've ever done in Magic.
It's like that time in Shard's Block where you cast double negative. If you ever counter 2 spells, then you just feel like you've won the Stanley Cup. I think the Overload is basically just a cool mechanic that they've fitted onto this card. I don't think anyone's going to play this card because of the Overload. I doubt it really will come into play that much, but in EDH it will. That's why they printed Flusterstorm in that pre-con deck, is because they envision this EDH games where
the stack just gets out of control.
Yeah, there's a million spells on the stack, and then somebody just says no.
Yeah.
Well, now I was going to mention, I'm not much of a Legacy or a Modern player, but what about Storm? What impact does this have on Storm decks at all, if any?
That's actually pretty good. Until right now, I just forgot that Storm was a mechanic. This won't be good enough for Legacy because Flusterstorm exists, and I would imagine all the cards that you want to catch Storm-wise, you can get with Flusterstorm. However, this is actually a very legitimate sideboard card against Storm decks, which is ironic because the deck that would most likely play this card is a Storm deck.
Yeah.
But it might be something that sees its way into like a modern sideboard or something. We'll have to wait to see. And who knows? There might be something in future guilds and future sets that. I guarantee you they will not print anything that's anywhere close to being like Storm. They regret that decision. They've regretted it for 10 ever since Scourge came out.
Yeah.
That's just not something that they wanted to happen, but sadly it did. But who knows? There might be something like a Cascade where it's not getting out of control, but there is a stack interaction like that. So it should be interesting. And then finally, like we said, we talked about this before. Won't go into too much, but Ultimate Price is the effective Doomblade of this set. We are losing Doomblade. We are losing Go for the Throat. This, I guess, is just...
I would rather have either of those cards than this.
Exactly.
But, we'll have to make do with what we have.
I would rather have Vindicate.
Yeah.
But they refused to print it. Maybe
they did. They said, hey, Vraska.
Vraska is not a Vindicate. Vraska at best is a bad Maelstrom pull. Because Vraska is... it's not... Vraska is non-creature permanent, right?
Non-land.
Non-land permanent. All right, so we're back live in the booth. I'm very excited. We've had at most 5 people watching tonight, which is tied for the record of live streaming. Like I said, on Wednesday, we actually did a cube draft at my house. Me and Ian Nolte and I did 2 Winston drafts. Were y'all able to? Did y'all watch that? You watched it.
I saw some of it.
I watched it.
It's fun. That was mostly just a proof of concept kind of thing where we're trying out the setup and see if I can. Because Ravnica's coming out in 2 weeks. We're getting into drafts. So if we want to keep doing this, we're going to have some kind of draft technology. So we're just testing that out, seeing how that would work. So might want to check that out. If you're interested in my cube, it's up on Google Docs, or you can follow me on Twitter and I'll send it to you. It's a pretty fun format. I would like to at some point, that's a really interesting question, if anybody would like to comment on that. We've been talking about doing like a midweek legacy event, midweek EDH or cube event. I found out in my short time doing this that people have a lot more free time on weeknights than they do on a Friday night. So that's something we might try to branch into is some midweek casual content, be it an EDH game or a cube draft or something like that. I'd really like to do a cube draft. I think that'd be cool. I like to, and cube draft is another format where even if I don't play, it's fun to watch other people play with my cube and you know, get exposure to like that. It's fun. So we might try to do that. So feel free to check out our archives. Well, since we're on the topic of things that we've recorded in the past, please feel free to check out both sets of archives. Jordan, you made me change Nebraska, and it's clearly the worst color. Okay, so
there you go. I mean, I'm just.
If you're watching this live now, then clearly you know where the stream is. Twitch.tv/ZachSellsMagic. So you need to know where the archives are at. The archives are at YouTube. My username is ZachSellsMagic. That's the URL. If you can't remember that, then just search for ZachSellsMagic, all one word, and my videos will pop up. Most importantly, if you subscribe on YouTube, you'll get an email reminder anytime I post a new video, which I think is pretty useful for channels I subscribe to. I definitely am more likely to watch a video if it tells me there's a video waiting for me. But more importantly, if you sign up for a Twitch account and then follow me on Twitch, it will send out an email reminder whenever the stream goes live, which is pretty important. So if we do an unannounced midweek thing, or if you forget about Friday Night Magic, or if we're doing something on the weekend, like we talked about States or CharCon or some other event like that, or the Interstore League, which is another thing we can talk about at some point. If you're not aware of it, everybody's got a smartphone these days anyway, so it'll just pop up and say, hey, if you're literally not doing anything better and want to come and watch us talk about other people playing Magic, check it out. So it's really worth a follow. So definitely follow us on Twitch. Check stuff out on YouTube. Everything that I've recorded live goes up onto YouTube eventually. So there's a ton of content there. Obviously it's going to be dated at some point, and I'm not making any kind of guarantees on the quality of commentary, but it is something to watch nevertheless. So we still got about 5 or 6 minutes left to go. Let's take a quick break, and then we'll come back with round 3 for hopefully another pretty quality match. We're 2 and 2 for good matches tonight.
Two good matches.
Hopefully we can bring you a third one. So we'll take a break. Huh?
No audio problems.
No audio problems. We're running real good tonight. So we'll take a brief break. That does not give you an excuse to quit watching, but just take a quick look at the Ravnica splash screen, and then we'll be back in about 5 minutes.
Talk amongst yourselves in the chat.
Absolutely. Debate things. Well, that's a good point. What do we want to talk about here? Okay. Earlier they were talking about the strategy, and we agreed that we're kind of in a world of hurt without Pyroclasm, but now everyone is just reminiscing about when everyone lived here. So will you continue to have that meet and greet? Let's take a brief break, and then we'll be back shortly.